Tea with the birds. I should be outside. So here's my box of my May teas for the tea club. I love that he sent me a white box. I love white. And here's the instructions. So here is today's tea, Jin Jun Mi Chinese red tea. It looks so great in the box. I took some photos of this tea with my good camera because I just loved the textures and the colors because we have a lot of tips, which would be buds, and a lot of darker colors. Just a beautiful tea. I really loved looking at this first out of the box. It's amazing that this can look this way and come off of a plant. I like being able to zoom in and look at the details of the tea. I even see some little bit of fussiness on it that you don't see with the naked eye. Look at this tea. It's kind of mounding and it's got some beautiful textures and colors. So I pulled some out onto my handkerchief, and May is supposed to be eyebrow, and I found two that are kind of an eyebrow shape there. This one I think shows that it's like an early bud. You can see the golden tips. Here's what some of the others look like. There's another one that's kind of more like an eyebrow. Different sizes and shapes. Okay, here's the color of the liquid. They also say liqueur. I always think of liqueur like it's in alcoholic beverages. It's kind of a classic brown. 2 cups because I'll pour this in there and my hubby always joins me, so we can talk about the tea together. It's not his thing, but he does it for me. And here's the wet leaves. There's one that is kind of full. So here are my tasting notes for the June May from Babel Carp here. I got that the Jen means gold and May means eyebrow, and so I recognized that eyebrow word. I had some tea that was green chun May, which was also eyebrows, supposed to be eyebrow shaped. And so online, what I got mostly was golden, beautiful eyebrows. But then during the chat, I learned that others say June can B for word meaning speed, and so they call it golden horses or golden horse eyebrow. That's interesting. The got this as part of the tea club I'm in. And there's the date. This is a black tea, which in Chinese it's known as red tea or Hong Cha, but in the West it's considered a black tea. The West meaning America and probably Canada. Maybe even South America. That's a good question. So this was copied straight out of the chat. Roy does a great slideshow, and at the end of the month he provided us with all this information on the dark teas last month that we drank, and I really appreciated his time. That took a lot of time to put together, but I thought this one that he was sharing during our chat with this tea would be very helpful, so I grabbed a screenshot. The origin of this is from the Wuyi Mountain or of the Fujian province in China. I also saw online that it was from Wushishan. Well, Shan means mountain. So Wushishan is Wuyi Mountain. And from Wikipedia, here is a picture that I grabbed. I've got a beautiful river. I guess these are the cliffs on the right. I'm not sure if that's a good picture or not. So the Wuyi Range is about right here, and the border there is the Fujian province, which is the same border as you see here around the entire Chinese. But you see it's along the, this province is along the coast. Processing, it is a spring pluck in early May, and from Wikipedia I got that this is a celebrated black tea from, as we said, the Wuyi Mountains in Fujian province, developed in 2006. So this is not an ancient type of tea that's been around for a long, long time. It's something that's fairly new. It's made exclusively from the buds plucked in the early spring, and the buds are fully oxidized and then roasted to yield a tea that is sweet, fruity, and flowery flavor. Then as we go on, it was the classic brown color on my color spectrum of teas here. It's funny I call it brown, but they name it red as if it's red tea. But often I guess these classic tea colors often do have more of a red tint to it. It's definitely not black. And so aroma flavor. Interesting is what my first word was. The dry aroma is unique, and sweet potato comes to mind. It took me a while to get that word, sweet potato, and once that came to mind, that's all I got. And I had only gotten a sweet potato before in the taste, and I actually had to roast some sweet potatoes for a tea that was supposed to taste like sweet potatoes, and train my senses to recognize what sweet potato tastes like. And now it's funny that for the first time I'm smelling it, and I went to my cheat sheet. I have a cheat sheet with flavors and what categories they're in to see, and it wasn't there. So that I thought that was interesting. So I had to add it to my cheat sheet, and I couldn't decide. I went with vegetal because I Googled and some other people had put it there, but it's really a vegetable. Vegetal, I think of more as grasses and herbs and things like that. But that's where I stuck it. I'm not sure it seems more umami to me. It seems more meaty and a sweet potato does. A sweet potato fills me up like I don't know how to describe it, but I went ahead and put it under vegetal, and oh goodness, did the dry smell so good. It was stronger as expected, and it really wafted through the air, and oh, I enjoyed it. Uh, and it was the same sweet potato smell for me. So the folks in the chat all agreed it was chocolate and honey. Well, okay, so honey is sweet, and I got sweet. So we agree on that part, but as hard as I tried, I could not get sweet potato, and maybe my senses are off. I don't know, but I wanted to put that in there so you knew what other people said. The body, I have it in the light category. The astringency, bright light category, that's my favorite spot. And taste, it does not taste like it smells. Nope, did not taste like a sweet potato or sweet, really, to me at all. I just got a sour taste. And my husband and I sat here for the longest time trying to decide what we were tasting. And during the chat, somebody mentioned hibiscus, and I said, that's it. That's it. So, hibiscus tea is used a lot in blends, um, and it's not really a tea from the Camellia sinensis plant, so it's not really tea. But whenever I would previously buy blends, if it had hibiscus in it, I just wouldn't buy it. I learned I didn't like it. I just would not buy it. Somebody else said lemon, and that agreed with me too. So it's the sour part of the lemon though. It didn't really taste lemony, but it did taste like the sour, the subtle, like just a small bit of lemon squeezed into it, making it sour, um, not a large amount. And this came from my husband. He said it tasted slightly burnt, so I tasted it looking for that, and I was like, yeah, I get that. It does. It tastes slightly burnt, not like a really burnt food, but slightly. And I wondered if that came from when they were toasting this tea. Um, Charred might be a better word for it, but we definitely got that, both of us, and that my husband come up with that, and I definitely agreed with him. So about 5 steeps in, I was able to pick up on the malt flavor. Others had said it was the honey and the chocolate and malty, and I did not get that at all. I was just stuck on this kind of hibiscus sour flavor. But then after the sourness kind of wore off, I did get the maltier, but it was a very subtle character, and the sour of lemon. Um, uh, I should put that in here. Sour of lemon sticks around, and the chard kind of goes away. So the sour just never went away for me. Um, and sour is on the sides of your tongue. Both sides of your tongue is where you pick up sour. And the same taste lingered in the finish, which is nice that the taste and the finish kind of agreed with each other, but then the smell did not agree with the taste and finish. I only gave it 3.5 hearts. I really, really, really wanted to give it something higher because any tea that I can drink without sugar is a big plus in my ratings. And I would highly recommend this tea for anyone who does not like astringency, like me. I don't like it. It's a nice astringency, but I am just not a big fan of sour, so I had to knock this one down. For my personal tastes, it's highly rated in China. Uh, Apparently, this is a really supposed to be a really good tea, but often my tea ratings are just a personal thing on personal um, tastes.